in our little session this evening, we're going to explain and give some information on the postgraduate science programs that takes part in the Tallaght campus. Just to give you a bit of information, the main campus is in the city, and then there's two smaller campuses, one in Tallaght and one in Blanchardstown. So we are discussing the programs in the Tallaght campus. Just bear with me till I try and go to the next slide. Okie dokie. So the programs that we're going to discuss today is our Masters in Pharmaceutical Manufacturing Technology, and Adrienne will be discussing that one. Then we have our Higher Diploma in Pharmaceutical Manufacturing, and Maureen will be giving information on that program. And I will start this evening's session by giving some information on our Higher Diploma in Food Science and Technology. And then finally, the lead-on qualification from that is the Masters in Food Business Management and Technology. And please feel free to maybe ask any questions or use the chat box if you'd like some more information or if I'm going a bit too fast. The first program I'd like to discuss is the Level 8. So it's the Level 8, this is an add-on qualification, and the entry requirements is that you must have a Level 7. Now, this is quite open in the sense of the type of Level 7 qualification you have. It could be science, it could be in engineering, it could be in kind of a very broad general science background, because it's not meant to be ultra specialized, the entry requirements for this. Now, it's important to remember that the Level 8 program I'm going to discuss now and the Level 9, these programs are delivered and managed by one of our partners called InnoPharma Labs. And these can also be Springboard funded as well. But you are a fully registered student in the TU Dublin. It's just the management of the program is slightly different. So what's the main, I suppose, description and the main points of a HDiP in food science? Well, okay, just to summarize, it is a Level 8 award. So it's equivalent to a fourth year of an honours degree. And it is basically, it can be used then to gain entry onto a master's program. And the entire program is 70 credits, but actually 10 credits for a work placement. So your overall grade of and mark is calculated just using 60 credits. Doesn't make much difference. It's just a bit of housekeeping there. The structure of the program that is delivered 2 evenings a week and on 2 Saturdays per month. So it's ideal if you're working, and the normal start time for the lectures at 6:30 in the evening till 9:30. And it's continued in three semesters. So we operate a summer semester for this program as well. So basically within 12 months, you will have completed the course. So the structure is that most of the lectures are delivered online. There will be some maybe face-to-face tutorial sessions, and then the laboratory sessions will take place in our labs in the TU Dublin or potentially in InnoPharma Labs as well. Just give you an overview of the kind of modules and the type of content. Obviously, this is going to be very, very sort of focused on food, and some of the, I suppose, obviously just food processing operations, and very, I suppose, very applicable to different types of industries will be the Lean Six Sigma methodology of manufacturing. Then another module looks at food formulations, how do we formulate foods, and then obviously HACCP. And contamination controls are a big part of food processing because it's highly regulated. So these are kind of, I suppose, core components for basically working in a manufacturing environment. Then there's the innovation and food development, which is used obviously for trying to predict future foods. And then we have industrial statistics, which is obviously how do you control your process. And then there's a process control and PAT, and these are the advanced analytical control systems used in a manufacturing process. And then all the regulations that are around food, because obviously it has to be tightly controlled because of health implications if there's any sort of contamination. So there's a module on food quality systems, and then this is a preparation for work. And it's basically to help students prepare for work, interview techniques, and preparing CVs. I'm just checking out, is there any questions on that? Is that okay? Clear enough? Or would you like to ask something? Oh, great. Okay, thanks for that. So it's as mentioned before, it's a level 7 entry qualification. And if you have a qualification from, say, outside Ireland, then there's basically equivalency checks that actually can be done on that. And it is recognized as a level 8, which means you do have the ability to apply for other level 9 courses. And it is also a direct, I suppose, entry into our MSc in Food Business Management and Technology, which I'll discuss a bit later. So I suppose the type of role that we'd expect our graduate students, to find employment will be. I mean, you're talking about quality control supervisors. It also with sort of research and development, it gives you bases on that. Very strong emphasis on the technology section, and of course, obviously, the compliance and regulations, have to be very It's an essential module that needs to be covered, even if you're working in research or in manufacturing. And then if you want to work on the actual manufacturing itself, like the engineering aspects of that, we'll cover that with some automation. And then the supply chain roles as well, and the importance that has in basically, I suppose, delivering our food and getting our raw materials in. So the next date for, I suppose, for graduate entry is going to be starting in September 2022. Okay. It's okay to proceed to the next slide, yeah? Everything okay? So then our next offering in the food space is the Food Business Management and Technology. So this is a kind of more of a hybrid course where it looks at the business side of food as well as the technology. It is a level 9 qualification that's recognized throughout the EU. And so basically it's obviously recognized and transferable. It's a 90 credit module, and again we deliver that over 3 semesters. Okay, so within the 1 year, and it's the same standard as before. It's sort of structure as before, I should say. It's got 2 evenings per week, 2 Saturdays per month. We have workshops, and we do have laboratory sessions as well. So this is more of a balance between the business side and the technological side. So obviously it's building on the foundation of the level 8. So it's much more of a higher level approach to that, and obviously on the management side of running actually a food business. So it's situated kind of at a kind of a crossroads, really, because it's suitable first for graduates who have science and engineering, and also with business. So if you're a scientist and you want some business skills, that is a good program. And if you're a business person that wants some of the technological aspects of food manufacturing and development, this also is a suitable program for that. And the modules, I suppose, reflect the overall objectives of the course, because you can see here that global food supply competitive strategy, is an essential part of the modern business. And again, we look at food formulations and processing. And this is a kind of an important module, really, is sort of trends in the global industry for the 21st century. And then there's a kind of a nice sort of, I suppose, health nutrition module here on the food science between health and nutrition. Again, then the regulatory affairs module now focuses on the global food business. And then basically the management of the food organization and the skill set that's required for that. And then since we're talking about innovation, then we might look at the R&D and product development process of identifying potential new products and bringing them to market. Now, the modules that we've just discussed, they basically are up to about 60 credits. So for a literature review and dissertation, that's an extra 30 credits. And that's what you need to get. Basically, the dissertation is your thesis as such. And therefore, so after the structure is that the first 2, I'll move to the next slide, okay, here, that the first 2 semesters is basically on the coursework. And then that the second 2 then the third semester will be focusing then on the thesis. So again, the entry requirements for this program is you must have a level 8 and you must have a minimum of a 2 degree, but that can be in science or business. So it's open to, I suppose, a wider variety of graduates than the level 8. And the employment opportunities, as was discussed by the modules, is pretty general here, because now you're into sales and marketing and basically supply chain, even process improvement from roles as well. So it would be less at the, suppose, the direct manufacturing and research phase, more at a kind of an overview in management. And there is some laboratory sessions then to help graduate who are from a business background, who obviously need some extra skill sets required to understand what happens in regards to the manufacturing process and stuff. So it's a nice balance, I think, between business and manufacturing. So and basically it gives you the skill sets to be able to operate in a variety of roles after completing. And the success and employment rate in the program is very high. But just to recap then, that you would be making contact with InnoPharma if you wish to basically to apply for these roles. And it is a very strong possibility that these also may be Springboard funded as well at that stage. So there's an option between Springboard funding and paying personally for that. So for the contact details then, the admissions is going to be in InnoPharma Labs, okay? And just to reiterate then, you will still be a registered student in the TU Dublin. And the examinations are held, under the control of the TU Dublin, and all our quality protocols and regulations apply. And you will have basically a student card issued by TU Dublin. But this is the InnoPharma Labs, our partners who help manage and support these programs from an administrative viewpoint as well. So I think that is me finished. Any questions? Is that okay? Nice. Hopefully that was relatively clear. Okay, I think I'll be able to hand over the baton, so to speak. Okay. Hi, Maureen. You okay in that?
Yeah, hi, Ed. Thanks a million. Okay, good evening, everybody. And this evening I'm going to talk about the Level 8 in Higher Diploma in Pharmaceutical Manufacturing. This program is a Level 8 QQI award, which is run in part-time mode over 18 months, 3 semesters. Delivery is 2 evenings a week with a blend of face-to-face and online classes. Why would you be interested in taking on this program? Well, this program, it prepares science and engineering graduates for work in the biopharmaceutical industry. If you're already working in the industry, it also provides you with an opportunity to upskill and to prepare for advancement to management roles. The course focuses particularly on manufacturing. So it's preparing graduates with the skills required to progress and to understand the theory and to develop their practical skills in respect to production of pharmaceutical products. It is a 60 credit program, and the modules are divided into 2 main categories, as we can see here. You've got the pharmaceutical-based modules, and then we also have got regulatory and management-based modules. The modules you can see are either 5 credits or 10 credits. The 10 credit modules will have a practical component associated with them, and the practical work would be carried out in our pharmaceutical pilot plant on the Tala campus, and also in the state-of-the-art laboratories which we have on the Tala campus. Entry requirements to this program is a science or engineering related primary degree at level 7 or higher. Also, competency in written and oral English is required, so an IELTS grade 6 or equivalent is also an entry requirement. We would have a number of participants on the program over the years whereby they would have had an engineering degree and they've been working in a different sector who now want to return or to enter into the pharmaceutical sector. So the skills and the theory developed in this program will allow them to enter successfully into the pharmaceutical industry. There are approximately 20 places available on the program for each intake, and the next intake will be in September 2022. The fees are outlined here, and these are the fees as outlined for the academic year 2022-23. The graduates from this program, they have many career opportunities open to them. They can enter into manufacturing areas within the pharmaceutical industry, process engineering, formulation, validation, and also into supervisory roles, as well as into the more management roles like project management and process improvement roles. Some of the graduates from the program would also progress on to do level 9 awards and level 9 programs, particularly into master programs. And one of the masters that they can progress onto would be the Masters in Biopharmaceutical Manufacturing Technology, available on the Tala campus. And more recently, we have had a number of graduates who have currently working in the industry, but who now want to meet the educational requirements to fulfill the role of the qualified person. And they would progress onto a Master's in Pharmaceutical Manufacturing Technology, which is run in Trinity College, subject to meeting the minimum entry requirements for that program. We would also have some students who would come and they might decide to take just single subject certification. So they might just want to upskill in a particular module or an area. So they would select a certain module and they would take that module and get single subject certification. If you would like some further information about the program itself, about the modules, please feel free to contact me, Maureen Walsh, at my email address here. If you would like some information about the application process, please contact lifelonglearning.tala@tudublin.ie, or they can also be contacted here on the phone, this phone number. Thank you for your attention tonight, and I hope you've enjoyed my presentation.
Thanks, Maureen. Welcome everybody to the room this evening. My name is Adrienne Fleming, and in this evening's webinar, I'm going to look at the Level 9 MSc in Biopharmaceutical Manufacturing Technology, which is also on offer here on the Tala campus of TU Dublin. The MSc is a QQI Level 9. It's a major award with 90 credits. It typically runs over 18 to 24 months, so 3 to 4 semesters, in part-time mode, 2 to 3 evenings per week, dependent on the semester. It also involves some workshops during the semester, which is certainly very beneficial. And as Maureen has said, that is in principally our pharmaceutical plant here on the Tala campus and also in our laboratories. When you look at the principal aim of this program, it's to provide graduates with diverse skills to work competently in many manufacturing sectors. So that's the biopharma industry, finished dose manufacturing, small molecule manufacturing, indeed the medical device area. We see individuals working in environments where clinical trials are ongoing, and also looking at other aspects of the industry related to possibly excipient suppliers and also project engineering. The MSc very much enables students to develop key high-level skills in manufacturing and processing, in quality assurance, product development, project management, process improvement, and regulatory compliance. So you can see that it very much covers many of the areas of the industry. This course is very much designed to provide science and engineering graduates with specialist knowledge and skills to work in the bio, pharma, and medical device industries. It focuses on regulatory practice for manufacturing processing, it looks at new technology, and it looks at the realm of the industry, from finished dosage to biopharma to the production of chemical APIs. When we look at the structure of the MSc program, you will see that there's a number of different modules that sit under different categories as we've put them here. You can see the core modules, which are your research methods and your thesis, which we'll talk about in a moment. You look towards the pharmaceutical modules, and you can see here that it covers the three main sectors of the pharmaceutical industry: bioprocessing, so the biologics industry. We're looking towards chemical API and small molecule manufacturing. And then we're looking to the finished dosage manufacturing technologies industry, where we're looking towards formulations. In the third pillar there, you can see we very much capture what's crucial and critical to this industry, which are the regulatory and management modules. So at level 9, looking at regulatory compliance, pharmaceutical management systems, quality management systems, and also advanced pharma and regulatory statistics. In terms of the structure, the thought modules precede the thesis or the dissertation module. So it is important to note that you complete the thought modules before you proceed into the final module, which is your thesis, your research project. And that research project element, if you're working in a relevant industry and if your company are happy for you to do so, you can certainly work on a project within your company. Alternatively, we work with you to ensure that you're enabled to carry out that particular module. The MSc, as we said, is at level 9, so it's important to note in terms of the entry requirements. It requires a minimum second-class honours degree at level 8 in a science, quality, engineering or related discipline. And as both Ed and Maureen have mentioned here this evening, the requirement for English, both spoken and written, is crucial as well. When you look towards the employment opportunities, there are many. For individuals who are working in the industry or are looking to move into the industry, into different areas in the industry, you can see in the list that I've put up here, it captures many different roles. Indeed, this is only a limited list of the roles that exist. And for those of you who are looking and observing how the industry is proceeding, you can see how important it is to have quite a high degree of knowledge of the various elements for the industry. The fees for the academic year 22-23 are listed there. And in terms of from a start date, the programme will commence number dependent in September 2022. Maureen mentioned when she was looking at the higher diploma slide that there's also the opportunity to look at single modules. So again, maybe it's the case that you want to upskill in a particular aspect. And certainly if you meet the prerequisite requirements, you can certainly look to take single modules. And that is something that has been quite attractive to individuals over the last couple of years. I'm the program coordinator for the MSc in Biopharmaceutical Manufacturing Technology. So certainly if you want further information and you feel I can be of assistance, reach out to me on my email address given on this slide. In terms from the application process, it's lifelonglearning.tala@tudublin.ie if you wish to proceed with an application. Some of the programs that you've seen here this evening are or have been funded in the past by Springboard. It is the case that there is funding possibly available, but this has not been confirmed. It won't be confirmed till later in the spring, early summer. So maybe just keep an eye out on that if that's something that interests you. Finally, just to wrap up the session here this evening, we're just going to talk a little bit on the resources, the physical resources that are available on the Tala campus that support all of the programs that you've met here this evening. We host on the Tala campus the National Pharmaceutical Education Centre, and that's an integrated pilot-scale biopharmaceutical technology facility. And it's very much designed with teaching, training, research, innovation, and industrial applications in mind. I'm going to show you a couple of pictures of our facility in a moment, but the facility has been in place for over 20 years at this stage and has certainly been well received by the industry and by students. We have a development lab that also supports our pilot plant, and you can see there listed some of the aspects of the development laboratory, from our analytical chemistry laboratory to our R&D lab and so on. I'm showing just a little collage of different pictures from our facility. So it's very much focused on the manufacturing aspect of the biopharma industry. And you can see there that in the different screenshots, there's a lot of stainless steel in our facility, but very much it's about hands-on in the facility, whether it's in our fermenters, whether it's in our filling line, indeed looking at aspects associated with automation as well. In our other laboratories, we work very much associated with the finished dosage formulations. So that's looking at the analysis of oral dosage formulations and indeed other formulations that are very much dominant in the industry. I hope in this evening's presentation you have learned something about the different programs that we're actually managing on the Tallaght campus, and we'll certainly welcome any questions here this evening, or indeed if you have any questions as a result of listening to this in playback, because it is recorded, certainly feel free to reach out to the individual program leads. Thanks for your attention this evening. If you have any questions, we'd be delighted to answer them.